Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Sorry my hands are a little messy in this. I recorded it after finishing the painting and some of the pigment stained my fingernails and even now it is still not off. But anyway, we're trying out Arrtx Jelly Gouache today. I got this gouache in the same birthday blitz that my India inks came in and I've been kind of nervous to use them. So we are painting a lovely end of summer mermaid to finish off the previous season and to get ready for the spooky times. I'm rather bad with cold weather, so summer is my favorite time of the year, partially because all of my allergies disappear, and mostly because that's when my birthday is. But in a very close second is the season of fall. I love all of the colors and the turning of the leaves, and going apple picking, and of course, pumpkin spice lattes. I swear I'm trying to pace myself this year and not drink too much, but I kind of broke already and got some pumpkin spice flavored creamer for my tea, so no regrets at all. So to combine my two favorite seasons, we are using a fall color scheme that I developed after rummaging through the depths of Pinterest. I decided upon a double complementary scheme. This is where I will be using two sets of complementary colors, blue and orange, and red and green, in varying shades and values to try and create a cohesive piece. This is my very first time working with gouache ever, and especially with jelly gouaches, I did absolutely no test papers or sketches beforehand. No previous practice at all. The only thing I'm using is my past experience with watercolors, acrylics, and oil paints, all of which I have used since the beginning of my development as an artist. However, this is a very different medium for sure. I made several errors in this painting, and I'm sure those of you who are more practiced with gouache are seeing them already. The water to paint ratio is very interesting to me. With watercolors, I'm used to adding a lot of water and slowly building up color to create gradients. With acrylic, I taught a few bring your own beverage painting classes in college. I mostly used acrylics, so I'm used to mixing in the water as I paint and adding more if I need to blend. Oils are about the same, and the long drying time is something that I find very comforting. I can just go in anytime and make changes, or if it's something super serious, I can wait for it to dry a little bit and then go over it. Usually has no problem. With gouache, I found that it's a combination of all three, but it dries the fastest. Way faster than I anticipated. Just like the India Inks Permanence, this is both a blessing and a curse. A blessing because it means mistakes can be corrected quickly, and a curse because it's hard to blend different shades, like with her tail, or reconstitute the pigment on your palette without throwing off the water ratio. The water ratio is another learning curve. I found out that the more water you add, the closer it becomes to watercolors. It even dries matte and chalky like most of my watercolors, but the ratio that I found to be the best is somewhere between acrylics and oil. You want to add enough to make sure that the color is spreadable, but not too much to where the opacity drops, because it's super noticeable when it does, as you can see here in her tail. Another thing I discovered is that it's much easier to do block coloring or cell shading when working with them. Doing smooth blending in tiny areas will lift the previous layer up no matter how long I waited for the paint to dry. I'm really happy with how her hair turned out. I wanted it to look very wet, but also kind of like seaweed. Hence the combination of green and red instead of another complementary set like yellow and purple. I definitely need to get some smaller brushes with nicer tips to use next time. My hands shake a bit when doing fine details, and trying to use just the very edge of my smallest brush led to a few errors that needed to be touched up later. Kind of proud of myself for the mood of this painting. The red sun definitely looks like it's setting, just as the season of summer is ending, and the mermaid looks melancholy, which transfers some of my feeling about the weather getting colder and having spent all of my last summer in Chicago indoors. That's right, I said last summer in Chicago. I'm hoping to move at the end of this year, however things are not very finalized, so I won't say where I'm going yet. I might do a video where I go through my art supplies and sketchbook boxes to organize them, so leave me a comment down below if you want to see my face for once, as well as my complete art supply collection. This is where I finally figured out the magic ratio and started to enjoy the process a lot more. You can tell that the paint isn't picking up, it's not catching too much, and it's nice and opaque. Then we go in and paint the sun with a bright warm red. Getting the color to lay flat when I couldn't move my canvas around was a little challenging, Let me know if it's less dizzying for you or less jarring to keep my canvas straight like this, because I'm totally willing to keep it like this if it works for you guys. Go in with the pink tones for the skin, which is the diluted complementary of the green from the inner tube. I wanted all my diluted colors in the center to focus your attention on the subject, especially with her expression. This is one of the few pieces I've done recently where I'm really thinking about composition and color schemes. I likely would not have put in such attention if I were just doing a fun personal sketch, so thank you all for being here and making me want to show off all the tools I learned from my past experience with art education. So we're coming up to the end here. I had a lovely time with this painting once I finally figured it out. I definitely will be using this more in the future and possibly on my next video, but I haven't decided yet. Speaking of my next video, I'm going to be talking about Final Fantasy VII and the new remake game that came out earlier this year. There's so much I need to talk about as I have been following this singular Final Fantasy game for the past decade or so. So I have a few theories that I want to add to the Final Fantasy community, so if you're interested in seeing more, if you like my art, if you think my hands look weird when I work, because I definitely think they do, go ahead and subscribe. I really want to grow this channel and do more and more cool things and make videos that you all want to see. So go ahead and leave some requests down below. Leave a like so I know if you enjoyed it. I'm flying a little bit by the seat of my pants, so if you have anything you want me to change that would make it a better viewing experience for you guys, I'm all here for some constructive feedback, especially because I'm doing this for all of you and the art community, and a little bit because of my own growth, but mostly you guys. But yeah, Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a lovely week and are going to have a great weekend. I can't wait to see you guys all next time. Bye for now.